Shameless plug, Budget Bash going on this week. Been a great time so far. Been killing it. There was like 100 people that showed up to our tabling thing today, giving out desserts. Some of those are still here, by the way, the Rice Krispie treats. So if you want to grab one, definitely grab one. But it's been a great time working with all of you guys. We've done some really cool stuff. And I think for a business pre-law student, it's been like the pinnacle of an activity I could be involved in, pretty much like the perfect intersection of the two. So thanks for being a part of it. Tristan Kajabi. I met you at the start of the school year, and at first, like, you were just this like idiot from LA that had no idea what was going on, but it's been such a privilege to watch you kind of like grow up into like a UF student, kind of like build a name for yourself, and it's been great that you've let me sit next to you at Senate meetings, and I'm happy to call you a friend now. Speaking of friends, my friend Aaron is standing up in the back right now. He came to listen to me and Blake give our goodbye speeches and retire from Senate tonight. So appreciate him and the rest of our friends who I'll just like tell myself in my head they're watching on the live stream. They aren't. Yeah, sorry, Senator Emeritus Alvarado. So thank you for coming and hearing this. I'm paraphrasing most of the bullet points, but I'll read these ones directly. Miss Jackie Phillips. I have written literal Senate encyclopedia, and this chamber would be absolutely screwed without her. I don't think a single person here would disagree with that. Specifically for budget, you've just been so helpful. Like, we need any sort of like, decision or absolute opinion on what a code means or where to find a code or literally anything. She's always on her email, always answering us, like catering to us. So it's made all the work that we've done possible. And I don't know if you know this, but I know that when I'm not around and you're speaking of me, you only say like the nicest things. And so for someone who knows more about Senate than anyone in this chamber, for you to say those things, it gave me so much confidence and made me feel like I really belong here. So like, I can't say thank you enough. I'm gonna miss getting to work with you because it's been an absolute pleasure, so thank you. And if you haven't gotten to meet Mrs. Jackie, like, she's the nicest lady ever. Please go talk to her, please go meet her. Absolutely worth it. And last but not least, Mr. Blake Cox. I'm gonna tell a story about Blake, and it is relevant, I promise. So me and Blake, when we got to school, we rushed the same fraternity at the same time. And in one of the first few weeks, we were getting like a briefing on just like do's and don'ts of Gator football game days, use crosswalks, drink enough water, stay out of the heat, like stuff like that. And someone on our e-board took it upon themselves to be like, well, you guys can't go and sit in the student section if you don't know We Are the Boys and the fight song and stuff like that. And so they were like, does anyone know the fight song? And immediately just, I look over and it's Mr. Cox. And he stands up and he's wearing, if you haven't seen him, they're awesome. He's wearing his khaki shorts with all the Gators all over him, I'm sure, and his Gator polo shirt. And he sings like at the top of his lungs in a room full of 100 people, the fight song word for word perfectly. And at the time I was like, this is really culty, and like, it's true what they say about all the kids like being Gator fans when they show up to school year. But when I think about that now, what I'm thinking about is like the school spirit. Like, no one I've ever met or will ever meet is a bigger Gator fan than Blake. And I think that that is probably, everyone here knows about your accolades and your accomplishments, qualifications, but I think the biggest reason that we are going to be so blessed to have you hold the highest office in our student government is because no one loves our student body in our school more than you. So thanks for being a mentor. I'm going to miss debriefing the meetings while our friends like joke about us being too wrapped up in play government. Miss having you for advice on like all the budget stuff, and it's just been like a dream to work with you. Yeah, I guess besides that, thanks to my parents. Maybe they're watching, maybe they're not, but I love you if you are watching. I miss you. I'll be home soon. To Vision Party, I was at your first ever meeting at the law school. First ever campaign meeting. People like Sakif and Ale telling us about what the party stood for and what it was going to become. And I don't think that anyone could have imagined how far it came. So for the people who are staying around, continue to represent the brand well. For the new people, I'm so excited you're getting the opportunity to be a part of it. It's been one of the privileges of my lifetime, and I hope that it's the same for you. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Go Gators, and good night.
We are now in line for Senator Meeitng. Yes.
Good evening, Senators.
Good evening.
So I'm just going to do a little bit of a get to know me. I never knew I would be a Gator. In fact, I didn't make a decision until May 1st at 6 p.m. Yes, that was the day decisions were due, and I switched from FSU to UF on a total whim. So to cope with all that stress, I threw myself a college reveal party, which is basically a gender reveal, but with more school spirit and fewer pink balloons. When I finally landed at UF, I joined FIMU, and let me tell you, I couldn't have found a better home. Shout out to all my FIMU sisters out there. I then became the philanthropy director, where I got to host 3 fabulous events, connect with inspiring kids battling illnesses, and I also got to meet Tim Tebow, which was pretty awesome. We all did our part in making miracles happen, and I'll forever be proud of that. Now I'm super pumped to serve as the Golden FIMU, where I get to work on making our chapter even stronger and even more fabulous. But the thing I hold closest to my heart is my nonprofit, Shattering Statistics, a mission born from my own story, created for kids who have experienced grief and loss. Losing someone you love is a pain no one should ever have to endure, especially alone. That's why I created and published an 8-week program filled with interactive activities, things like memory bracelets and kindness letters to help students across the nation express their emotions and begin to heal. Through this work, I've been able to connect with students from all walks of life, sponsor scholarships to help them chase their dreams, and advocate for resources that should have existed long before now. It's truly the greatest privilege of my life, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. While I've had the chance to sponsor some pretty cool bills in this chamber, SSB 2024-1711 will always hold a special piece in my heart. That bill was my baby. With the incredible support of the CWC, we built something that never existed before. An entire department at the Counseling and Wellness Center dedicated to students experiencing grief, because grief is awful, it's isolating, and no one should have to go through that alone. But if you do, you shouldn't have to go through it. Now, thanks to this initiative and the new department we've created, students have access to support groups, online counseling, articles, podcasts, videos, and apps, all designed to help them navigate their grief. And if you ever find yourself in that place where loss feels overwhelming and you don't know where to turn, please check out the Gator Grief and Bereavement site. It's truly more than just a resource. And I want to leave you all with a couple of my favorite life mottos. So the first, what sets you apart is not the presence of adversity, it's your response to it. This chamber is full of challenges, whether it's fighting for funding, advocating for students, or let's be honest, just making it through a 6-hour meeting without losing your mind. But it's not those obstacles that define us, it's how we push forward, how we find solutions, and how we show up for people who need us the most. The next is, true impact is made when you change lives without ever needing applause. Legislation isn't always glamorous. Most of the work happens behind the scenes, long hours of negotiating and advocating. Sometimes your name isn't even the one in the headlines, and sometimes no one even knows the fight and effort that you put in. But the real reward isn't the applause, it's the students who now have the resources they need, the initiatives that make campus a little bit brighter, and the legacy you leave behind. I didn't join Senate for recognition, and neither did most of you. We did it because we care, and that's what matters. And finally, one of my favorite reminders is always wear your invisible crown, because you never know who's watching, who you're inspiring, or whose life you're quietly changing. Okay, a couple of shout outs. Caroline Shapansky, you're queen because your dedication to promoting inclusivity knows no bounds. You make sure that everyone, no matter where they come from or what they believe, feels like they belong. Crystal Felix, you're a queen because you always know how to put a smile on everyone's face, whether it's with a joke, a kind word, or just your infectious energy. Raylan Adcock, you're a queen because you lead with kindness and authenticity, making every room brighter just by being in it. You lift others up simply by believing in them. Ashley Thomas, you're a queen because you are the kind of friend everyone wishes they had, loyal and genuine. Abigail Melamed, you're a queen because you're fearless in trying new things and jumping headfirst into every opportunity. Even as a freshman, you've already made so much of an impact, and I'm so proud of you. Anjali Sharma, you're a queen because your passion for mental health advocacy is truly inspiring. You don't just talk about change, you make it happen. And Julia Cypher, you're a queen because you inspire and encourage people to step out of their comfort zones. Case in point, I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for you putting up flyers on our sorority house walls saying, if you want to get involved, text me. At the end of the day, we all have a crown, we just have to remember to wear it. And in my case, mine happens to come with a sash and a little extra sparkle. So a little bit about what's next for me. I am preparing to graduate this spring. This summer, I'll be interning as an administrative assistant at the Mayo Clinic, gaining invaluable experience in healthcare leadership. I will also be continuing my work as the president and founder of Shattering Statistics, furthering our mission to support bereaved individuals across the nation. And as for the next chapter, I'll be pursuing my master's in healthcare administration, location to be determined, but fingers crossed for a double gator moment. And no matter where I end up, I'll be cheering you all from afar and wishing you nothing but success. Senator Bazin and the Queen of Heaven are signing.
We are now in line for Warren Cornell. Senator Cornell.
Good evening. How are y'all doing tonight? What an awesome looking group. I'm excited for the future to see what y'all go on to do. Growing up, I looked up to my granddad. And something he did is anytime he wanted to teach a lesson, he told a story. So if you don't mind and indulge me, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story. It's a little long, but I promise it's worth it. So there's this man, and he's driving down this road. I don't know if any of you have ever driven through the Green Swamp, but it is just miles of a 2-lane road, straight on forever. No radio service, no cell service. He's lost in his own thoughts and on his way to a very stressful business meeting. And I don't know about y'all, but that sounds like the worst combination ever. To be lost in your own thoughts, you're stressed, and you're driving, and there's nothing to take your mind off anything. So he's driving, it's been about 3 hours on this road. Nothing but trees on either side, no other cars coming. And he notices a monastery that just kind of breaks into a clearing on his left. And he's staring at this monastery, and just like me and you that have been distracted for 3 hours driving on a straight road, he just stares at it. Now this road that had been going straight S-curves around an oak tree. Man never even sees the S-curve, drives right off the S-curve into the oak tree, totals his car. The monks come out, the man's surprisingly unhurt. They say, "Sir, we can fix your car for you, you just have to spend the night." The man said, "You know what, that works. If you can fix this car, I'll pay as many nights as I need to." So they take him in, and they set him down at this large dinner table. I want you to picture like a medieval feast hall, and then your favorite food. And they had that favorite food, and they had the favorite food of the person next to you at this table. And he eats, he loves it. Dessert comes, it's your favorite dessert, and the person next to you's favorite dessert, and he eats it all, and he really enjoys it. They take him up to a room, he goes in, he takes a shower. It's one of the best showers he's ever had in his life. Comes out, there's a heated towel sitting for him in silk pajamas. Dries off, puts on the silk pajamas, goes to bed. It's a double king size bed, and just the most comfortable bed he's ever sat in. So goes to sleep immediately. He's tired, he's had a long day, right to sleep. Everything's perfect till midnight. And directly at midnight, what I'm about to describe to you is impossible, unfortunately. There was this sound. And the sound, it was beautiful, but it was ugly. It was smooth, but it was rough. He wanted to cry, but he wanted to laugh. Wanted to dance and wanted to hide. And the sound is impossible to describe, and it really messed with him. What could you possibly make of that sound? He had no idea, and at 12:01, the sound cut off right just like that. Man wakes up the next morning, they're eating breakfast, and the head monk says, "Sir, how was your night?" The man said, it was fantastic, except at midnight there was a sound. Do you mind telling me what that sound was, sir? I don't know how to describe it, much less what made that sound. The head monk said, "Sir, I would love to tell you, but I can't tell you, you're not a monk." So the man goes out to the garage, and sure enough, his car is brand spanking new. I mean, it has the new car smell and everything. Drives off, goes to his business meeting, and absolutely botches it. He can't get his mind off that sound. What was that sound? What was that sound? The boss tells him, "You got to figure yourself out before you come back to work. This behavior is unacceptable." So the man comes flying down the road in the other direction, runs right into the tree on purpose. Gets out, runs right into the room, skips dinner. Doesn't even really say hi to the monks, goes straight to his room, sits down on the edge of the bed, and waits till midnight. Sure enough, at midnight, there's that sound. Like I said, it's a holy and a demonic sound. like smooth but soft, beautiful but ugly, and an impossible sound that intertwined itself. He doesn't know what is making that sound. Please, what is that making that sound? And it drives him crazy. He just snaps, scratches out, if you will. And he goes down the hall in the monastery, just banging on these doors. What was that sound? What was that sound? Somebody please tell me what that sound was. Finally, they get him to the head monk, and the head monk said, "Sir, what's going on?" He said, "Sir, please tell me what that sound was." He said, "I can't tell you, you're not a monk." The guy's flustered. He goes, "What do I have to do to become a monk?" The man said, "Go out and tell me how many blades of grass there are on the world and how many grains of sand." So guy goes out and he does it. I mean, he spends 10 years talking to scientists, talking to theorists. He goes and counts speeches, he counts pastors, he comes up with his own stats, and he comes back and he gives it 2 numbers. And the head monk goes, "You know what? I see the dedication. It's close enough. You're now a monk." The guy goes, "All right, what was that sound?" And he hands the key. So the dude opens this wooden monastery door and goes down the spiral staircase, and I kid you not, there's a stained glass wall the size of this wall here. And right in the middle, there's a stained glass door. He slides the key in, and he finally saw what was making the sound. Now, I know the question in the room is, Warren, what was that sound? To which I get the pleasure of telling you, I can't tell you, not a monk. Now, I don't say that just to waste your time. No, on a real note, there is a moral to the story. First of all, tell that to your friends and family. It's funnier when you're the one telling it versus you're the one hearing it. But on the second note is, don't let Senate be a waste of time for you. Don't let it be the monk joke. Go out, do something great. And other than that, go Gators. It's been a good year.
All right. We are now in line for minority party. We will have 15 minutes whenever you'd like to begin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First and foremost, I want to thank all of you for listening to me, not just today, but throughout my time in the chamber. Whether we agreed or disagreed, whether we debated fiercely or shared a laugh in the back of the room, I'm grateful to have shared every moment with each of you in this chamber. Tonight marks the end of my tenure in the Student Senate for now, a journey that has spanned 2 terms, over 24 bills, and a re-election to make me just the 2nd engineering senator in the 21st century to serve back-to-back terms. But beyond those numbers, the experience has been defined by the people who have shaped it around me. In attempting to recognize the incredible individuals who have impacted my journey, I wanted to go through it somewhat chronologically, but it'll be very broken. Starting with Blake. Congratulations on your election to student body president. Way back freshman year, you represented me as our Springs senator, and I am excited to see what you've been able to accomplish in student government in your 4 years and what you intend to do in your new role. For your years of work in SG, I am bestowing upon you my check mark, being the inaugural Bannock Student Body Service Award. All right, next, I don't think Socket is in the room right now, but I just wanted to give him a huge shout out, regardless of what was said at the special meeting. Because the truth is, and he might not admit this to you, but it was Socket who told me to run with change back in fall 2022. He had the foresight that I should slate with engineering in spring 23, and I'm very grateful for that. But many people don't know that up through now, I've known Socket for well over 6 years, and he's the one person that I have an 0-3 debate record with back in high school. Despite always feeling like I had won the debate on paper, he's just too good. Anyway, While I was unfamiliar with student government up till that point in my sophomore fall, it was Socket's inspiration that led in part to this roller coaster journey, and I could not be more grateful, regardless of our independent party affiliations. I'm grateful for the beard roller recommendation that he gave me, and while my facial hair is not nearly as luscious as Socket's, I hope that one day I shall be able to rival his prowess. All right, moving on. Coming into the change side of the aisle. Shout out to Mohammed Faisal. Thank you for being the second best absentee father in my life. He was not very present as a mentor, but he was still able to provide me guidance nonetheless. Shout out to former Judiciary Chairperson Johnny Stevens. Your legislative and advocacy leadership set a very high standard in my own mind, and I know the rest of the caucus as well. And you set a standard that many people aspire to this day. To the other role models of people who came before me, Gabby Montez, Grace Shoemaker, Hannah Ali, Evan Rafanon, Oscar Santiago Perez, I thank you all for showing me what it means to be an independent and fighting for real change on campus, both in the chamber and outside. Coming to the term in which I was elected spring 2023, a huge shout out to Onflo, Shalisa, Asif, Simone, Jordan, Caitlin, Pelton, Timothy, Taramikan, Symes, Huber, Alvarez, Mia, and Richter. Thank you all for your dedication on the campaign trail in the chamber as well. I could not have been more grateful to have spent my first term serving alongside you all. A special shout out to John Lynn, who was an engineering senator who was originally elected with Inspire, but was later with Change as a graduate senator. And he really laid the groundwork for me, showing that engineering representation in SG is possible long before Change even existed. Now coming into fall 2023, shout out to Faith, Isha, Megan, Tay, Hunter, and countless others for fighting the uphill battle against, quite frankly, a still skewed at-large model. You serve as an inspiration to me and many, many others on campus. For those who may still be in the room with us, I'm not sure if Antonio is here, but he's been a role model for me as a graduate student himself, but also Antonio and I are both in the ECE department, providing that we have a place in SG. Is Antonio here? If not, I'll skip his over. Next is Annika. Annika, are you still here? Annika, your tireless efforts to make change happen, regardless of your title or position, earn you the biggest Chiller Award, if you'd like to come up. And I got to keep going. I know I don't have too much time. But next, to all the people I ran with for my re-election, Anjali, Hannah, and Fahim, I couldn't be more proud to have been re-elected alongside all of you, and especially for Fahim. And I know he's not in the room right now. Thank you, Annika. I wanted to thank Fahim for being one of the best mentees I could have ever asked for, and I couldn't have done my job as MPL if it weren't for his incredible work. But talking about who I couldn't have been MPL with without is Victoria. Victoria, as my deputy, you ensured that for the first time in recent Indy history, not a single senator from our side of the aisle was on probation entering this semester. I bestow upon you the constituency champion. I gotta keep going. I know I don't have too much time, but this is a 4-person award going to Mahit, Priya, Cielo, and Lucas. You are the future of Indy representation, whether you like it or not. While our shared time in the chamber was short, confined to just my leadership, I am always here as a resource for you all. You each receive the Most Likely to Grow award. Moving on, Nikhil, Mason, Sophia, and Angela, I'm very proud of the work that you all put in to the campaign, but also the work that you put in outside of the campaign representing engineers. You all receive the Bannock Engineering Excellence or B Award. All right, next to Joaquin and Namika, thank you for being my executive running mates. There's nothing I can say here that I haven't already expressed to you both, so I'll keep this short. Next, going to AJ. Where did AJ go? He's right over there. This may be the end of our time in the chamber together, but it is just the beginning of our great, great friendship. I look forward to seeing the impact of SSD's 2025 1053 and 54 on the docket for tonight. And for you, I just bestow the Best Connecticut Resident Award. I'm very proud to share my home state. Next, moving on, Motopiola, your dedication to graduate interests and representation within the chamber is unparalleled, and your impeccable style, symbolized by your bucket hat tonight, earns you the Color Coordinated Award. Moving on, they're not here. For our newly elected senators, I know Andrew isn't in the chamber right now, but with fewer independent voices in the chamber after the election, the weight of ensuring student interest rests heavily upon those representations that we have from the spring election. But I will give this to him separately. To Senator Britton, who I know is in the room with us, your dedication to crafting meaningful legislation for graduate students is inspiring, and even in the face of challenges, I know that you are working towards the best interests of graduates. I bestow upon you the Graduate Greatness Award. All right, last but not least, for those on the other side of the aisle, starting with those who might not be in the chamber anymore. Special thanks to Senator Petrocchi for always being a friendly face and working with me on SSB 2025-1058, which is on the docket for you tonight. Thank you to Senator Hewitt for being like-minded on proper e-waste disposal procedures. While the Wrights did not want our e-waste disposal container, I'm grateful to have worked on SSB 2024-1189 alongside you. Now for those still in the room with us on the other side, Senator Urbans. While I still do not fully understand the circumstances that led to you switching sides like Anakin, the future still holds many opportunities for you to fight for graduate interest. And I know that deep, deep down, there's still a change maker in your heart. For you, I have the most likely to be halfway through their redemption arc, smiley face. Next, we have Chairwoman Felix. Thank you for going above and beyond the call of duty. In my 2 years in Senate, you are not only the only INC chairperson to actually do what the codes expect of you, but also innovate within the role and go above and beyond to highlight the amazing things that Senate does. I give you the most likely to be the most goated INC chair award. And I know I don't have too much time, so I'm going to have to go a little bit quicker. To Senator Bennett, congratulations on your re-election to class, and thank you for being willing to speak your own mind when negotiating SPIA this past spring. It has been amazing getting to see you both grow inside and outside the chamber. For you, I am most likely to be above 6 foot. All right, next is thank you to Senator Shapansky for fighting for nursing representation in the chamber. During my time in the Senate, I cannot remember any other professional school that has been represented for more than one legislative session with all the work that the professional seats have to do outside of the chamber. For you, I have most likely to thug it out representing a professional seat. Next, a huge thanks to Senator Toledo, my mentee, and it was a pleasure getting to work alongside you in and outside the chamber on SSB 2024-1730 on Flexbox rollover. For your memento, you have most likely to share the best first name in the chamber. Next, a huge thank you to Senator Bravo. I'm proud to have seen you grow in the chamber, and I'm excited to see what more progress you can achieve in judiciary and beyond. For you, I have most likely to pull off the slick back hairstyle. We can debate it later. All right. Next, a huge shout out to Senator Riley. Thank you for collaborating on SSB 2025-1006, advocating for graduate and family housing alongside myself and Cassie. I couldn't be more grateful to have had someone from Gainesville and their unique perspective on this issue. For you, you get most likely to rock the 352. These next ones are going to go a little bit quicker. To Senator Furman, most likely to end up on ESPN behind basketball announcers. Next, I have Senator Sharma. Thank you for all your hard work advocating for mental health. For you, I have most likely to be kind. Next, MPL Adicula. Thank you for making both of our jobs much, much easier than they really could have been. For you, I have most likely to light up the Senate with your leadership. Next, Senator Golosorki. I have most likely to collect a very, very vast amount of non-perishable goods. Next, for Senator Levitt, and this award is shared between both of us, I have most likely to be the best Blue Key debate round robin judge panel. We had an amazing opportunity to. Next, for Senator Rodriguez, I have most likely to give the most fire RNA judiciary interview I've seen during my time in RNA. Next, I have Senator Falasiri. I have most likely to give an RNA interview from anywhere besides the interview room. I swear I heard so many things in the background. Anyway, next I have for both Pro Tempore Cipher and Judiciary Chairman Rubai, and this is a joke, sharing an award that is most likely to submit a bill striking entire sections out of the codes. All right. Next, we have Senator Salvador. You give me hope for what SG could truly be. While my Senate journey is coming into the train station, I'm excited to see the train of progress that you may be able to conduct. For you, I have most likely to do service with a smile. And point of inquiry, how much time do I have? Okay, perfect. And for the last individual acknowledgement to Senator Rafe Khan. I don't need to come up here and tell you what you already know, Rafe. I've had the pleasure of seeing you grow over the past 5 years into an amazing advocate, leader, and communicator that you are, and I'm excited to see the rest of your UF journey. For you, I have most likely to make a half-court shot. And thank you to all of you that I didn't mention, especially those who attended my bar close and brunches, an aspect I hope that we can continue within the chamber, and everyone I didn't have the chance to recognize individually, as there's been so many people that have come through the chamber up through now. Next, I will leave off with a parting message for our incoming senators and those who are staying from the fall. For those of you continuing in the chamber and newly elected, know that this work is not easy, nor that it should ever be. Advocacy, representation, and proper leadership demands true commitment, resilience, and sometimes, oftentimes, frustration. But that is what government is all about. At the end of the day, you can't cry about having a lot on your plate when your goal is to eat. You all ran for these seats, one reason or another, because you saw problems that needed solving, students who needed a voice, and a system that could be better. Now that you're here, it's your responsibility to follow through. Now, don't just take up the space in your Senate seat, voting up and down, listening to the cushions, compress and decompress. Make the space around you better than when you found it, when you first stepped foot on UF campus, at preview, or when you did your first tour. For the very last time, goodbye, Gators, and good night.
Okay, good evening, senators.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. Everyone can hear me? Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying that I made this today, and it's nowhere near as like, some of you guys worked on it for a while. Okay, anyways, hopefully this is lighthearted. Anywho, for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Aditi, or Chairwoman Sarkar. I am a third-year political science major. I'm pursuing certificates in artificial intelligence, data analytics, and sports management. I am from Parkland, Florida, and I am on a pre-law track. Okay, so first and foremost, Tyler reminded me to put this in there, but shout out to my family for being the reason that behind all my success. I know my mom was watching, so hi, Mom. Okay. So, my journey in student government started back in fall 2023, and like Tyler, I was at the first vision party meeting. Anyway, so I ran to be an off-campus senator, and have continued up until now. I would like to shout out right now Aaron Sindhu, for those of you who know who he is.
Oh yeah.
He was the one who introduced me to Senate. Also, former Senator, now Interfaith Director, is Noor Azim, for running alongside me, just for support, to be honest. Shout out to, probably one of the biggest shout outs to Student Body Treasurer Sakin Zamera for motivating me to not only be in Senate, but honestly being like the truest Senate mentor I've had. Not just about budget, guys, but about everything. He's a great advice giver. You guys should definitely go to him when you have time, but don't tell him that I said that, because he'll be like, damn, you filled my office. Anyways, I kind of lost my spot. Let's see. Okay. So now that I've mentioned Aaron and Sakin, it only feels right to give a shout out to every single one of my people who have made this experience truly worth it. Rustika and Anjali for being my Senate children and always me forcing them to go to Kazuki's with me after.
Shout out to Noor Azim, Maya Dikula, Johanna Monsi, Fahim Islam, Isha Khan, Rafe Khan, Anamika Naidu, Anjani Sharma, and Aisha Kadus, as well as Timur Nawaz, and so many of you guys outside of the chambers who have made my experience absolutely wonderful. I'm so grateful to have worked with each and every single one of you on an individual, like on a Senate level as well as on a personal level. It honestly truly makes me so proud to see all that we have accomplished as a people, and I could not be more proud standing here and seeing you guys right now. Silent. Alright, anyways, I would like the time to specifically thank both Julia and Maya. Actually, kind of a funny story. One time, no one actually ever breaks into my apartment, though our door is always unlocked. And one day, my roommates and I came home, and we saw like all this shit on the counter. It was like plushies and like candy and like Korean soda and like all this stuff, right? And like we just kind of assumed it was like my other roommates. We're like, okay, whatever. And then I'm like, she's like, no, it's not mine. I don't know anyone that would do this. And then like days go by. I don't think I say anything about it. And then Julia like hits me with a phone call and she's like, hey, did you get that? And I was like, I'm sorry, get what? And she's like, yeah, actually, so your apartment door was open. And I dropped by and I left a bunch of stuff on the counter. I was like, oh, that was you. Anyway, so in a nutshell, I think Julia has been there for me since the beginning, and so massive thank you. She's the type of person where even if you're not looking, she's always there. She always has your back. And keep your apartment doors locked. Anyways, moving on to Maya. Honestly, there are no words, Maya. Like I think Max said it perfectly well. I think you're the type of person that you walk into a room and you light it up, and not only have you done a wonderful job inside the chamber, but you're somebody that always keeps it very, very real. So, shout out. Okay, this part I did not steal this from Tyler, guys, but I would like to start by thanking the one and only Miss Jackie Phillips. Okay. Jackie has been definitely my rock through it all. She is one of the best if you guys know her. There was never a question she did not know the answer to. And like sometimes I would feel like so stupid asking her a question. I would like rephrase it in what I thought was the smartest way to ask. And she was like she would definitely know. But she definitely, honestly, like truly guys cares for the well-being of every single student on an individual level. It makes our job as senators so easy to do for the betterment of the student body when we have like such support like that. So thank you. I would also like to take this moment to thank my wonderful Senate exec, though I was late to every single meeting probably. But Blake, Julia, Crystal, shout out for the live stream. Catherine, Erin, Mia, Leah, and our amazing MPO Maya. It's been an honor working alongside you all and seeing how similarly we honestly all deal with the many things that come our way. And guys, many, many things come our way. In the several times that I've almost or actually crashed out over an email, what I like to do is I like to close my eyes and spiritually channel every single, person on Senate exec and just formulate a response that I think each individual would be okay with. So thank you guys for that, spiritual channeling. Through my many Senate experiences that I've had, I have to say, unconditionally, my most favorite memories have always been made within the budget committee. I joined budget right off in the fall of 2023. I've been on since, and this past, it was an honor to serve as the budget chairwoman. The budget committee I worked with, we have several names, guys. The Budget Busters, Doe Disciples. It's gotten better over the years. But any of the names they have, I would say they've not only been the best senators I've worked with, but also the best people I've worked with throughout my term. So I'm gonna give a couple shout outs to them. Shout out Molly for always sacrificing herself to take minutes. She's able to do this while calculating anything we need and honestly being there whenever I need her. Shout out to Kate for actually being the life of the party. You keep hearings very, very entertaining with your bright personality and the many creative things you've done for budget. Thank you. It's nice that you guys clap at the okay. Shout out to Sophia. Your skills for budget have been amazing. You're such a fast learner. You came in with such good energy. And also, she literally likes my messages so quickly, and then I have to be like, guys, like my messages. So thank you for that. Shout out to Cool for being a human calculator mixed with the Flash. Guys, literally the other day, I needed like a laptop, and he was like, I'll go get it. And he fully was like, time me, and ran from like the SG office all the way downstairs. And I don't remember the time, maybe like 2 minutes, I don't know. But yeah, you can always count on him. Shout out to Rafa and Anthony. I think they are the greatest evil twins to exist. They bring a very fun energy to things, both inside and outside budget. They have this thing where like they like to finish each other's sentences, and I don't think they notice it. But they definitely always bounce off of each other. So like if one of them wants to make a motion, like they'll start the motion and they with a question mark, look at the other one, and be like. So I think it's a beautiful thing to see that they learn from each other. Shout out to our newcomer Caleb for learning about funding in probably the fastest amount of time anyone has. I gave him the guides and I was like, like you can learn this, but like obviously go at your own pace. And today he was fully talking to people, knowing exactly what he was doing. So shout out Caleb. Okay, last but not least, probably my favorite person on the committee, but I'll only probably say that once. But shout out to the best vice chair I think I had, and I think I was lucky to have such a great vice chair. From code revisions to planning events, to literally like sitting with me at events if people don't show up, to dissecting every single bit of the 800 codes with me, trying to figure out solutions for things, and even dealing with anything that comes our way. Tyler has most definitely been my right hand. Not only are you a great senator, but you are an amazing vice chair and you're an even better person. Okay, so overall, I would say the budget committee has given me not only the best learning experience, but also a reason to continue doing good and helping as many people as we can together. I'm thankful for, this is another thing I wanted to say. I was supposed to say this earlier, but I'm thankful for every single person in this room, genuinely, and the impact you have all had on me. I would like to shout out our wonderful caucus, as well as all of you guys, to be honest. I'll take the time right now to shout out my roommate for always rescheduling because it's Senate Tuesdays. So we always just have to reschedule hanging out, or I make them stay up late for a debrief. Also, she's here, so yay. Okay. I'm trying to think of any more shout outs, but honestly, like everyone has impacted me on such a large level. I've been here for what I personally think is a little too long. So, but to each their own. Okay, moving on. I love all the goodbye speeches. I personally don't have any solid advice. I'm not somebody that I would take advice from, first of all. And second of all, I fear advice to me is just not one size fits all. However, I may have words of wisdom, emphasis on may. I don't know if it'll fit. But I would just say take everything with a grain of salt. Life is so much bigger than all of us, to be honest. And remember the impact that was made on you so that you can make an impact on somebody else and bring at least a little bit of light into someone else's life. It was an honor being a senator and working with you all. Oh, did I shout out Sandy Kingwood or no? Let me go back to that. I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry. This is important. Massive shout out to Sammy. We met on the fall 2023 campaign when we didn't even know. So we had a class together. And we sat next to each other in the back to lock in on other work during that class. And we would never look at each other, never say hi. And then one day we pulled up, both of us in our vision shirts, and we just kind of looked at each other. Like, it was side-eye for a long time. And then we actually made eye contact, and it was like, that Spider-Man meme? Where it's like, that's exactly what it was. So ever since then, we actually did start talking, and we are taking a class together right now, so I'll very much see her on Thursday. But she's been an inspiration, a great friend, and a mentor, and honestly is so amazing at what she does. Let me go back to the end now. Okay. It was an honor being a senator, and an even bigger honor being the budget chairwoman and working with you all. I'm excited to see all the amazing things that the new senators do, and then the current senators continue to do. I wish you guys the best of luck in your endeavors. Of course, go Gators. And if you guys ever need me, in the famous words of Bad Baby, catch me outside. Sorry, annoying mic noises coming out. All right. Hey guys. I know I don't talk much in the chamber. I'm just so quiet. But I would like to introduce myself. I'm a third-year political science African American studies major with a minor in anthropology. For those of you that don't know me, obviously Deputy Minority Party Leader for Change. It's my full year coming to a close. I'd like to say shout out to all of the other senators that finished a full year. I do recognize it's very hard to get through a whole term. There's a lot that comes at you, life, mental health, stuff like that. So I think you guys all deserve a little pat on the back.
Give yourself one. I also served on R&E for a full year, or summer, don't clip me. Okay. So I think, I've learned a lot in the chamber. I'm gonna stay on script because I'm also mushy. I mostly just wanted to give this speech because there's so many people I've crossed paths with through Senate that deserve recognition. Campaign and Senate have probably been some of the most transformative experiences I've had at this university, and it's taught me so much about myself in ways that I could never have imagined. So I'd like to first say thank you to the people who've made my time in Senate special, my Change Party babes. So Annika, Anamika, Anjali, Isha, Jaleesa, Zoe, Fahim, Kayla, my fellow class buddy Sarah, though she's no longer in the chamber. You were really important to me. It was good to have that little connection. Alan, Elizabeth, Vivian, Angelina, Oliver, Chloe, Mika, Reem, Finley, Hilton, Max, and our grads, Anusha, Antonio, sorry, and all of the other people I've met campaigning or in the Change Party. I really think you guys have showed me just how much you can do with your time at this university, and that's been really important to me. I also want to say thank you to my Senate mentees, Priya and Maya. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with your time in the Senate. I think you have so much potential, and I hope you guys get to realize it here. Some of you guys have come to hold such a special place in my heart. I don't know who I'd be without your friendship and your belief in me. You're the reason I'm in this chamber and why I do what I do. Thank you to my friends, my roommates mostly, Taylor, Nina, Cynthia, Jaylee, Bree. I just ran into her outside. She's so sweet. I love you guys, and thank you for putting up with my crazy Senate schedules and my cries. I know I yap a lot. Thank you to the student body for allowing me to hold this position, and thank you to the R&E committees and the Senate secretaries for keeping this chamber running. You guys deserve thanks. Yeah, come on, y'all. Okay, there have also been some people across the aisle who have shown me a kindness that also deserves recognition. Thank you to Ella, Anjani, Ko, Monish, and Crystal. You guys are so sweet. Oh my gosh, you guys are so kind. And big shout out to David. He's no longer in the chamber. He has graduated, but he's like, we're both in Blackville. We run in the same circles, and it was really important to see him in the chamber as well. And I hope to leave with one last message for my newbies in the chamber. Don't lose sight of why you're here. I know that it's hard to keep up with the schedule and the meetings and the politics and everything, but I hope that you all take your position and your support and you do the absolute most that you can. Don't lose yourselves in this or any involvement for that matter. No matter how important it seems, you come first. Congrats to all the new senators, and I can't wait to see how far you guys go. And I want to say another shout out to Mason and Andrew too. I almost forgot you guys. Sophia, Angela, all of you guys are great. So thank you.
That concludes goodbye speeches. We are now in line for amendments to the minutes. Are there any amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, we are now in line for amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Majority Party Leader Dixon.
Thank you. All right. I move to add Kyle Kuhn for the Open Director of Finance and Affordability under replacement agenda by unanimous consent.
There's a motion to add Kyle Kuhn for the open cabinet position to the agenda by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Follow up.
Follow up.
I move to approve Kyle Kuhn for the Open Director of Finance and Affordability seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Kyle Kuhn for the open finance and affordability directorship and cabinet by unanimous consent. Are there any objections?
Point of inquiry.
Point of inquiry.
Do cabinet positions have a speech to be made?
I don't believe they have a speech. I do know for a fact that the candidate is here. I'm not sure if the candidate has something specifically prepared.
I'm gonna have to object. I'd like to see some.
Okay. So there has been an objection.
Okay. Follow up.
All right, follow up.
I move to strike SSB 2025-1048 from first reading by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to strike SB 2025-1048 from first reading by unanimous consent. Just for information of the chamber, the author requested to withdraw the bill, so we still have to strike. So are there any objections to that motion? Hearing none, that motion passes.
All right. I'm follow up. I move to make a block of legislation on first reading from SSB 2025-1027 to SSB 2025-1052 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to make a block of legislation including SSB 2025, 1027, 1037, 1044, 1046, 1015, 1052 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Follow. I move to approve that block of legislation on first reading by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve the block of legislation under first reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
All right. I follow.
Follow.
I move to make a block of all legislation on second reading by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to make a block of all of the bills under second reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow. I move to approve all of the legislation or the block of legislation under second reading by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve the block of legislation under second reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Perfect. I yield my time to Minority Party Leader Bannock.
Thank you.
I yield to the Senator Say.
Senator Say.
I move to approve SSB 25.
There's been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1053 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Follow.
Follow up.
I move to approve SSB 2025-254.
There's been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1054 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Yes, Senator Carly Bannock.
Thank you. I move to create a block of the bills SSB 2025-1054 through 1061 by unanimous consent.
1054 was just.
1055.
Oh, my bad. I was counting from the wrong number. 1055 to 1061.
There's been a motion to create a block of all SSB 1055 to SSB 1061 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Okay, and then just as a point of information for the chamber, because I don't think I have an opportunity to say this before the meeting, but if you would like to sponsor either the call pods or the disability access bill or the suite of facilities bills, which you all have received, there are 3 separate sheets up there. The block I just made is one of the sheets. Okay.
Now,
I
I point of information I will allow.
Yeah, sorry. Now I move to pass the aforementioned block of bills entitled Resolution Series for Facilities of the Future by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to pass the block of legislation on first reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right, so we are now in line for student body officer reports. Is there anyone from the president's office? Is there anyone from the vice president's office? Is there anyone from the treasurer's office? Is there anyone from the president-elect's office? No. Is there anyone from the vice president-elect's office? Is there anyone from the treasurer-elect's office? All right, we are now in line for my report. Good evening, senators.
Good evening.
Well, okay, I'll be honest. Minority Party Leader Bannock kind of stole my thunder, but he did it better than me, so it's totally cool. Senate President always gives out paper plate awards. I'm uncreative, and if I wrote them on paper plates, it would look worse, so I'm copying my notation and writing them on the business cards. So, without further, I'm going to provide context for some of these. I'm not going to provide context for others, because it's my paper plate awards. Best name pronunciation goes to Andrew Sabadash. Always love to rep the senators that love getting their time in even just for a few weeks. So the Better Late Than Never award goes to Connor McGinnis.
Oh, yeah.
This is very apparent during campaign. This award is social anxiety's worst nightmare, and that's Cole Bennett. I went on a crash out when I was pro temp about like lawyers and stuff. It was a whole thing. So most likely to actually be a lawyer is our law senator, Emma Ball. Not here. This person has some great fashion. A fashion thing that I've never seen in college, but it was pulled off so well. Most likely to rock a pocket square would be Minority Party Leader Bannock.
The one day I got home.
One day. I can't take credit. I think this one's really funny. President Forsyther came up with it. The Lorax Award, because she spoke for the Normandy, goes to Elle Farmer. This award, it's the Hollywood Award, because Tristan, good job Javi, because he's from LA, he likes a little bromy, even though I'm 3 years older than him. Most likely to live in the rights, that's my idea, chair of the rights. This one was improv on the spot. Dude, just tell us what the sound is. Warren Cornell. This one's an inside joke. You were the future, Matthew Bravo. So this senator I've known for a really, really long time. I used to hang out with her older brother when I was like in the 4th grade. So the throwback award goes to Kate Finfrock. This person's clerked of a million committees. Josh, you actually, you're the ultimate clerk. Yeah. Okay. This is not okay. I'll explain this one. Jocelyn Riley wins Best INC Committee Member. She's not on INC, but everyone seems to think she was when she was up for RN. Most likely to win a state championship is Tyler Schoberline. He loves if you ask him about it, guys. He's state champion and he thinks it's a really big deal. He did win a state championship. Innovator, reps the Innovation Academy well, Senator Abrams. For probably the person who moved to previous question most this term, the cut to the chase award, Senator Nadell.
That's fine. Back to the joke.
It's kind of crazy that in my time I've seen 2 members of the same sorority slate for the same Senate seat and then get super involved in Senate. So Julia reincarnated goes to Abigail Melamed. This one, Rosa Mirabel wrote a lot of really thoughtful cards during the Valentine's Day thing, and I thought it was super wholesome. So most thoughtful goes to Rosa Mirabel. All right, now we get into a lot of people. Okay. Cool under pressure. I've literally never seen Chairwoman Isaacson bothered ever. She's locked in. She's cool under pressure. It doesn't matter what's going on. She's like, back. She's ready. So cool under pressure is Catherine Isaacson. Very similar to what was referenced by Minority Party Leader Bannock. I was astounded when I saw that Chairwoman Felix actually went to Turlington and put up safety, even though it got covered up within 2 hours and everyone checked. So live or die by the codes is Crystal Felix. Absolutely crushed it as committee chair. Always love seeing what people thrive. So the backbone of budget is a DT sergeant. People always seem to forget who is Mia Filorano. These two go together for very different reasons. Aaliyah Henley and Cassie Urbans get the Marathoner Award because Cassie's been in Senate almost as long as I have, and Aaliyah showed RNA the day after running a marathon. This person always fails to get applause from the crowd, so fan favorite is This was before I knew that she broke into a decent apartment, but her period goes to Julia Sykes. All right, that's all I've got, and now for my goodbye speech. Get comfortable. I'm sorry. I wrote a lot. I didn't even mean to. All right, I'll be doing an hour of speech for every year I was in Senate. I wouldn't do that. All right, for the last time, good evening, Senators.
Good evening.
If you don't know me, my name is Blake Cox. I'm from Winter Park, Florida. I'm a double major in political science and ag and communication. I'm a 4th year, and I've been in Senate for a really, really long time. I served from my freshman fall to my December of my junior year. And then the February of my junior year until now. I only missed a month and a half, including summer. I think I'm on some kind of leaderboard somewhere for most Senate meetings. Let's go. Not a fun accomplishment. I think I've served with over 400 senators in my time. I did the math, which is unbelievable to just think about the number of people I've seen in this room. And I will like mess up people's names. I'm sorry. I messed up a few people's names. I've been with a lot of people. I'm sorry. My student government origins, Blake Cox Lore, get ready for it. It started in high school. I dropped out of jazz band because I wanted to do student government. I got a lot of flack from my teacher, and he banished me to the practice room to practice my French horn until the transition happened. It took like 2 months, so I was just kind of sitting in isolation during fourth period all freshman year. Worth it. I got involved in student government. I was really, really enjoying it. Kind of a random thing that I noticed on my high school campus was like, and this like a lot of the guys will get this, urinal dividers. We didn't have them. I'm not going to do a demonstration, but for those who don't know, if there are 2 urinals next to each other and there's no divider, it can be a little uncomfortable to do your business next to someone, especially when teachers would use student bathrooms.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, really weird. So I was like, this is kind of a problem. So I recognized that there was a problem. That was the first SG problem I ever recognized. But I didn't have the influence to do it, so it took a year, got a little bit more involved, and was finally able to work on it. COVID delayed it by a lot. But eventually the nicknamed Potty Protection Program was completed, and that was how I learned how fulfilling it can be to make a tangible change for students, and I think it's where I found my love for student government. My sophomore year, our high school student government went to a district conference, and they stood up at the beginning and were like, please send your representative to the resolutions meeting. And I didn't know what a resolution was, and I don't think anyone at my high school did either. They were just like, make one of the sophomores go. And I was like, I'll do it because, why not? Wow, what a crazy decision that is. So I go, I learned what Parley Pro was, which is what we use in the chamber every day. It's how I became well versed in it and know all of the random ins and outs of Robert's rules. And then, so what I did was I added a student body parliamentarian position in my high school because I wanted to learn more about Robert's rules because I'm a nerd. And then I decided I'd run for a state parliamentarian. It's the Florida Association of Student Councils, it's like statewide student government in Florida. Met a lot of FASC alumni in the chamber and in student government, so shout out FASC. Ran a statewide campaign, funny small world enough. Senior class president Adrian Alonso actually helped me run my campaigns. Crazy lore. Yeah. And then I finally got to UF, and the 2 big things I did in high school were band and student government, and I was like, I gotta just choose one, and I was better at student government than I was at band. So I slated for Springs, and to my surprise, I got it, and I campaigned for hours and hours on end. I became known in our campaign as the guy in the chair because I got a little Gators folding chair and would just sit in it all day. I wouldn't even talk to people sometimes. I'd just sit there and they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, do you want to vote? And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, okay, have a good day. But it worked. I won my seat. My good friend, who was one of the Change Party, I think either the Change Party president or campaign manager, was Grace Shoemaker. After I'd won my seat, she came up to me. She was like, honestly, we were expecting to win yours, but I don't even care because we won a lot of seats. And I was like, cool, thanks for having me win. That was great. And then I get on budget. Was not my first try through RNA, so don't be discouraged if you don't get through RNA first time. I was like the budget kid for a long time, and I got rejected, so happens. I really love doing it because I was always kind of a math kid. So in my wisdom, I majored in political science. Found my passion again, and then my freshman summer, some crazy things were happening as they tend to do in summer Senate. So I got to explain Robert's Rules things to my fellow freshman senators and gained a little bit of notoriety there. That was fun, and then led to me becoming majority party leader my sophomore fall. And the party that I was with, Gator Party, we had just lost, and everyone was like, haha, good luck. And I was like, thanks. So I knew it wasn't going to be smooth sailing. I was told that by the end of my term, quote, I would hate change and they would hate me. So I made sure to go out of my way to make sure that didn't happen. I always try to communicate frequently with the other MPL, and I think things went relatively smooth during that term. People that were there kind of can testify. Also, I came up with my little bit of like weather forecast during caucus. Like people would be like, how bad's the meeting going to be? And I'd be like, slightly cloudy, which was like kind of quick. And I'd be like, it's a hurricane. And I need to be here till 11. That was like a bit for a while. Yeah, super overwhelming because I was like the youngest person to have a role in like the chamber by far. And then one meeting I had an impeachment document for the student body president just introduced on the floor, and I was like, So I guarantee you, if you feel overwhelmed, you are not alone. I was an MPO that was able to get change people on committees. My good friend Connor Panish told me he thought that him getting on budget meant that he was going to be a scapegoat. That was not true, but just a reference to how bad things were. He was convinced that it was like some big game. I think I was really starting to get SG. And then my party lost again, and things get rough everywhere. I consider myself a pretty positive person. I don't want the speech to be partisan or like take shots at anyone, but this was a pretty miserable time for me, and so I'm just gonna say my piece. I think this was miserable for a lot of people, by the way. I wanted to be pro temp, and then we lost, so I was like, well, we can't do that. And then there was just weeks and weeks of stupid antics, for lack of a better word. And then the Supreme Court had to get involved, and then there were negotiations that I didn't get to go, but they were like, okay, you're gonna be budget chair. And I was like, sick, that's an awesome consolation prize. And I was super excited to get to work on budget because it was where I really truly refound my SG passion. And then things got like really bad really quick. During summer A, I think it was 10 days before like the new fiscal year started. So before like money got dispersed for the new fiscal year, I was added to a Zoom call when I was driving up to Gainesville because I was commuting. Very dangerous, I do not recommend. And I was told that of the Indy bill, where Change had tried to force me and my colleagues to move over $1 million 10 days before the fiscal year started, which for those asking, it's just not legal in the codes. It's also not feasible. Like you can't just move $1 million around in accounts. Like these numbers are real. These are real dollars. And we were using executive nominations as barter, which I have just written down. This was a joke and probably the most overtly ridiculous part of that summer, but that's really saying something. In the budget committee that I had, which I was my budget committee, no one else is here still, but it was great. It actually went super smoothly. We had a really good kind of understanding and critiqued the then Big Five pretty well. And then it came to the floor, and probably my worst moment in Senate happens. There was an introduction for an amendment to my budget that I had spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours working on. And they amended the budget, and when it came to a majority vote, it was 26 in favor, 28 against, and it was like, it's approved. And I was like, you can't do that. And they were like, yes, I can. Boom. And I was like, I was pretty starstruck. By starstruck, I mean shell-shocked. That's not to take shots. Again, I'm just saying my piece and ranting. Yeah, that was pretty bad. And then it led to what I crown as the worst meeting ever. It was at Southwest Rec. We like to do a meeting at Southwest during Big Five hearings. Poor Laura Hall had to sit through maybe the most chaotic Senate meeting I've ever watched. I'm not even going to begin to just unpack the mess because it would take probably an hour. But it was really bad and probably the worst meeting SG's ever had. The summer was honestly really miserable for me. I got yelled at by people that were just 2 feet away from me, and multiple times for things that I just didn't even do. Which, by the way, that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves is getting in trouble for something I just didn't do. Because like, bro, I didn't do that. But anyway, probably the only highlight of that summer was getting to be the co-chair of the mental health ad hoc committee. We were doing good work, and I was able to work on something that I'm truly passionate about, which is mental health. We survived the summer, and Vision was founded. Again, I didn't go over all that to try to hate on anyone or like make some political statement. I just wanted to say my piece because I finally get to leave the chamber after 3.5 years. I promise it's a good time to Senators, I promise. Anyway, Vision is here. Let's go. That's the title of this section. I was already kind of planning my retirement, but I was like, you know what? Vision stands for what a lot of what I was already pushing, which is bipartisanship and cooperation in the chamber. So I'll help for one last campaign. Little did I know. And then the election happened, and the results got delayed again. So I was stuck as budget chair for an extra 2 months. I quite literally could not quit because then we just had no budget chair into the abyss. The joint committee happens, and for those who don't know what the joint committee is, it's like RNA, but like infinitely worse because it's RNA plus every Senate chair doing RNA recommendations to fill quorum. So every open seat, which means if it ever fall below quorum, it's 50 plus open seats, and it's, 11 people all trying to argue and give their 2 cents. And keep in mind, almost none of us wanted to be here because it was past our time to retire and leave. So that was pretty awful. But then I finally retired, yes, for a month and a half. I missed the game too much. I came back to a new off-campus seat. I got in, I was revamped and ready to work. And then honestly, this part's pretty quick. I ran for pro temp. I got to work with Manish, who was an amazing Senate president. Can't say enough good things about him. Yeah, and then I have been serving as Senate president, and it has been a true honor, something I do not take lightly, and something that I've truly, truly incredibly grateful for. And I'm incredibly grateful for every single person in this room, because all of you, whether you know it or not, did make my term just a little bit better. Yeah, thanks for being a captive audience while I just vented for a while. Had to get stuff off my back. Okay, little more lore drop. So for almost every single Senate meeting, I've missed a few casual senates, etc. I've worn this exact tie. When I won my first seat in Senate in fall of 2021, my girlfriend Maddie, she's been my support system throughout this entire time. She's been there for me always. I cannot express enough how thankful I am for her. She looked at me and she said, "I am so proud of you, and now you get to wear this to your meetings." And I honestly didn't realize how much this would mean to me until I've been reflecting on my Senate journey. I encourage everyone to have something like my tie, some kind of lucky thing, some kind of remembrance, some trinket, something to just remind you that you're doing a good job. The Senate can get really chaotic. It can get really horrible. The job is hard. And it's really, really nice to remember that there are people rooting for you. There are people in your corner. Even if you don't realize it at the time, there are people who are so, so proud of you. Please don't forget that. I personally, when I left for a month and a half, I was one of many senators who left Senate for mental health reasons. And I really, really sincerely hope that nobody ever has to do that again. Speaking of, let's remember that we're all students and we're all Gators, so let's please treat each other with respect. The statement on the top of the agenda about respecting each other, that got in place during my term as MPL. And I've personally always tried to go out of my way to show respect to anyone in the chamber, because I think we should treat all others how we want to be treated. It's corny, it's the golden rule, but I think it's true. I also think it's important to know there's a time and place. Making up blatant lies about someone to post on your campaign Instagram, I think, is absolutely unacceptable. Yeah, I have thick skin. I don't really care. I can move on. But yeah, forgive, I don't forget. Don't post that. Don't do stuff like that. We're all students. Keep it in the chamber. Let's show respect. All right, now moving into a more positive section, let's do some shout outs. Again, please don't be offended if I don't shout you out. I'm sorry. I've served with probably around 400 to 500 people. I don't even know how I begin to even check. It's impossible to mention everyone. It doesn't mean I don't like you. I've had a misconception from people thinking I hated them. I promise I don't hate you. I don't hate anyone. And there's a lot of people, and I don't want us to have to be here forever. First off, I'd like to thank my friends, family, and God for supporting me along this journey. It's been really long, and I could not have done without all of them. And once again, huge shout out to my girlfriend Maddie. She has been my support system. She's been my rock. I could not be here today without her, and that I know for a 1000% fact. I'll try to do this in semi-chronological order, which means you guys can pay attention to a bunch of names you've never heard of. Shout out to Alejandro Hoyos. He was my first friend in the Senate, represented the Infinity Dorm. He was always just kind of vibing and good vibes guy. Timothy Shin, District C Senator, my freshman year, genuinely one of the nicest people I've ever met. If you have something bad to say about Timothy, I don't even know how that's possible. He is just a ray of sunshine, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Donald Webster, what a guy. What a guy. That's all I have to say. Everyone that was on the budget committee when I first got on, for being super welcoming and allowing me to kind of learn. Big shout out to them. Again, Grace Shoemaker, first person I co-authored a bill with, fun fact, even though she was on the other side, because we go way back to church choir. True story. And then we ended up on different sides in the chamber, but it works out. Shout out JC Cable. I didn't even write this because he was here. I swear I was going to say this. Shout out Aaron Alvarado and Miller Mullaney, former summer senators and my roommates at the time, and now my roommates again. And Alec Unland, who's a grad senator that nobody knows. He was a guy. Second term, shout out to Liv Green, shout out to Sean Harkins. They're a big deal. They're the people I looked up to, the people I learned from. So I have to thank them. Shout out Faith Corbett, the MPL. When I was MPL, our contact is MPL, like the handshake emoji. We got along pretty well considering our whole job was to not like each other. Former Senate President Oscar Santiago Perez didn't expect to see Oscar here tonight, but I consider Oscar one of the few people to rival my parliamentary knowledge. So it was fun getting to go head to head with Oscar a few times. Other people I served on Senate Exec with: Lily Clark, Arnie Beast, Ethan Gozali, also one of the nicest people I've ever met. Just a ray of sunshine. He was I feel like he started the INC stereotype of super nice, bubbly, amazing, super happy person. That was amazing. Shout out to, again, did not realize these people would be in the chamber tonight. I'm like, oh gosh. Jonathan Chance Stevens. I had the ability to work with Johnny in multiple different capacities, multiple different ways. I have a lot of respect for the work that former Judiciary Chairperson Stevens had put in. That is an amount of work that I think very few people can ever amount to. Also, super random. Shout out to whoever it was. I don't know your name, and you're definitely not watching. Some dude just stood up one meeting during Senate, a really tense meeting, and just goes, "Yo, point of order, that's an attack." I found it really, really, really funny, and it was during a really tense time. I still don't really know what he was talking about, but shout out to that guy. Shout out everyone on my budget committee: Raj, Anwalo, Anna, former grad senator Colin Lash, who I saw recently. That was awesome. Big shout out. And then Owen Leckenbush, Sammy Kingard, good old student body president Brickman, and Isabel Ponce. Now my third term. I know I've been talking for a while. Sorry, guys. Shout out everybody on RNA with me: Anamika, Roman, Catherine, Julia. I'll talk about you later. Never forget the Matthew Sweet RNA. Never forget. That's all I have to say about that. It was a weird one. Shout out Hunter Monson. Good vibes. That's all I have to say about that. Shout out everyone involved in SGI. SGI was an awesome experience. Cannot promote that enough. If you're in town this summer, you should be a staffer because SGI is the best. Except YLC is actually the best. Sorry. Anyway, shout out Maximo Toledo. This is a crazy poll. Alexander Dantulis. If you know, you know. Griffin Atchison, another person who I go way back with and was so excited to see in Summer Senate. Mia Filoramo. There's her shout out. She wanted to make sure she got one. And big shout out to Nathaniel Pelton. What a great public speaker. That's all I have to say. We actually live in the same building. Fun fact, I've had a lot of positive interactions. But yeah, what a great public speaker. Those are the 5 words I have. Very true. And now my fourth and final term, because I'm just I've been here a while. Big shout out to Minority Party Leader Bannock. I did my best. You were very respectful always, and I know that's hard to do, and I seriously appreciate that. Shout out the other member of large, Leah Henley, absolute beast. Crystal, I still can't believe some of the codes you follow respectfully. Obviously, the code should always be followed, but she was like, all right, just post it in Turlington. And I was like, what did you do in Turlington? Mad respect. Shout out to Chairman Sarkar, absolutely crushing it on budget again. Big shout out to all the dorm candidates I worked with on the fall campaign. I was like, these are my minions. I will get them elected. So it was actually so happy to see all of you elected. I was more happy for you all than I was for myself. I was so worried. But yeah. Also, shout out Senator Bravo for he's Matthew Bravo. Okay, now for some of the more in-depth shout outs for some people. Mason Solomon, he's been there since the beginning with me. Our first campaign meeting, our first Senate meeting. I was so happy to be able to pro him for External Affairs Agency Head. It's what he's been wanting for so long. It's what he's been going for so long. So much respect for him. He's a really great friend. Good luck at UF Law. You are absolutely going to crush it. Student body president Brinkman. I know he's not watching because we both could get flashbacks. Really crazy fun fact. The first time I ever showed up for a tabling shift, it was at the Rights Union, and the only two people there were myself and John Brinkman. Really weird full circle moment because I show up to Senate and he was like, "I'm the MPL." I was like, "Whoa." So yeah, that was super fun. Shout out Sammy Kingard. She joked in her goodbye speech that she can't escape me because I was her MPL when she was a District D senator, and then she got on budget, and then I was budget chair, and then I left, and she was like, "Okay, good, Blake's gone." And then she was R&E, and I was pro temp, and she was like, "Oh my gosh." But now she's SGI agency head, and I get to be student body president. So I'm going to watch it one more time, which I just think is really, really funny. Shout out Matt Reich. What a great friend. My first Senate mentee, my only Senate mentee for a long time. Just a super smart dude, like crazy smart. I shouted him out in my first goodbye speech because we played Wizard 101 together, and I wanted to put him on blast, and I thought it was really funny. I think he's worth another shout out here. S tier friend. Socket Tamara. He's genuine. It's really fun to razz on Socket. He's doing a really great job as student body treasurer. But don't forget we talking the 800 codes first, and just keep doing great things. You never fail to make me laugh, especially when it's at you. You're a great friend. Thank you, Socket. Bronson Allamont. Bronson is a very interesting person because while I can very confidently say that he's my friend, I can equally confidently say that he absolutely terrifies me. Unbelievably intelligent, has been incredibly helpful to me throughout my journey. Thank you, Bronson. Monish Vijay Raghavan, one of the few people who can pronounce and spell your last name. So I could not have asked for a better Senate president to serve with. You did an absolutely amazing job, and it was so fun working with you. I'm excited to work more with you next year and see all of the amazing things that you do. Julia Cipher, my pro temp board, you are crushing it. You might be the GOAT of RNA. I think Julia and I argue frequently about who has more hours on RNA. It goes back and forth, but Julia's been on there for a while, and she's the GOAT. Please continue to lead well. You will do amazing things. I am very confident. Aaron Rubai, thanks for taking over for me as the guy who knows too much about the codes. Your encyclopedic knowledge is very impressive, and staying sane-ish as you just chair for that long is a huge feat. Kyle Kuhn, one of my really good friends from my fraternity. He was pretty much my assistant during campaign, my right-hand man. Could not have done anything without him. Super helpful. I'm so excited to hear you talk so soon. By the way, quick plug, Kyle totally deserves director. I won't be able to speak in ProCon, but he's literally the AD of finance right now. He's basically running the show right now, so he should totally be director. But anyway. Last and certainly not least, Tyler Schoberlein, one of my good friends, one of my first friends at UF. I am so unbelievably glad that you joined Senate and SG. I finally have someone to talk to. Thanks for continuing the Senate family tradition of being SGI Chief of Staff. That was Matt Reich, me, and Tyler all. So again, shout out SGI. You've made this experience so much better for me. I did not realize how bad I needed someone to debrief and rant to until you took the red pill, as I put it, and joined SG. Crazy to say, I've seen someone develop both as a leader and a Mario Kart Wii player. I have no doubt that we will always be really great friends, A to B. One more big shout out to Student Government Advising and Operations and the Senate Secretaries, especially Jackie. She got a paper plate award for being overworked and underappreciated, and I just don't think that can be said enough for everyone in the Student Government Advising and Operations team, especially Jackie. She's here late nights. Also, fun fact, I'm the last senator that was here pre-Jackie. So, yep. I was here without Jackie, and it was the Wild West. It was awful. I'm kidding. Also, speaking of underappreciated and overworked, huge shout out to the Senate secretaries. They do so much to keep the ship afloat. They absolutely crush it. I've seen like 6 Senate secretaries in my time, and they absolutely are amazing. I cannot say enough thanks to them because they do so much for us. Shout out to everyone who just won their seats. Have a great time in Senate. It's a great time if you make it great. Can it be hard? But like, what's worth doing if it's not difficult? Final thoughts. Senate is a great experience. It's what you make of it. I spent far too many hours in this chamber. I would love to see the all-time leaderboard for most meetings. I have to be on there. I feel like I've officially seen everything there is to see. Like now that the special meetings, like I went through a special meeting, I've seen that too. But who knows? People love to surprise me. Thank you all genuinely for an amazing term. I would not have changed my time for the world. I wrote this quote down in November to say, there's enough problems in this world already without all these stupid misunderstandings. It was from Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Shout out Charlie Brown. Thank you all so much for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope to have an amazing next year. Feel free to always reach out. And as always, go Gators and have a great night. So we are now in line for Kyle Kuhn for the Finance and Affordability Director, I believe is the position, Director for Cabinet. Would you like to come up and say a few words?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle Kuhn, and I'm a sophomore finance major from Chicago. I believe I'm qualified to be the director of Finance and Affordability Cabinet because I was an assistant director last semester, and I planned our first event this semester while the old director was already studying abroad. The first event was with the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, and the goal is to inform all students about scholarships available to them at the local, national levels, etc. And I already have our next two events planned, which will include a food drive to increase donations to the Field and Fork Pantry, and an event regarding textbook purchasing, renting, and returning. I think they will go as good, if not better, than the first
one. We'll have 3 minutes of question and answer whenever anyone wants to. Part of your event.
Can you elaborate a bit on, so were you saying that you had the textbook rental drive before and you hope to do it again? Or is something you hope to do in the future?
Something I hope to do in the future. I've had it planned for like a minute.
Okay, understood. And then could you elaborate more on what other ideas that you touched on that you weren't able to drill down as much? What were the other things besides that?
The first one was the event like that already happened with the this Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, and the second one I'm planning to. I was gonna do it with the Orange and Blue Cabinet and do it like outside the O'Connell Center, and they were gonna like have like poster making and whatnot. We were gonna do food drive, but that kind of got bailed on by the UAA. So I'm gonna do it like a little bit later in March and just kind of incentivize the patients.
And then as a follow up, or actually I'll get the other question.
Yes. Majority part of it.
I was gonna move to previous question.
Oh, I have more questions. I think other people have questions.
There's been a motion, previous question by name of consent. Are there any objections?
Okay.
There's been an objection. Okay.
Just go. Just
Could you elaborate a bit more on, besides for the drive, how else do you plan to emphasize the affordability aspect of your role? Should you receive the position?
So my old director did an event like encouraging, she did an event that was more on the side of like budgeting. I was planning to do that if this other event got trashed, which it did. So I have another like proposal ready. By chance that one doesn't get approved, I would focus more on that. Yeah.
Senator Kajabi.
What makes you passionate about student government? Got involved like spring freshman year, and I just kind of like loved it ever since I've been involved.
I get it.
I moved to the previous question by name of consent.
There's been a motion, previous question by name of consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. We are now in line for a vote. All in favor of approving Kyle Kuhn for the open finance and affordability director position, please rise. Thank you. You may be seated. All
You
opposed,
see that fly off?
all opposed, please
I
rise.
saw it fly off.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna speak that.
All right, so we are now in line for committee reports, starting with the replacement agenda committee report.
Hi, everyone.
everyone. Nothing crazy for me. Congratulations to all of the new senators. We have one open off-campus seat. And also I went to the event that is a part of Budget Bash Week, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I highly encourage everyone to show up and show out. Blake, we have a paper plate award for you.
Yeah, we do.
The paper plate award is most likely to be elected president after coming back from the dead. Thank you.
We are now on for the Judiciary Committee report with Chairman Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about Judish. It's been a long ride. I don't think I can do it any longer. It's actually been, I did the math, it's been like 55 weeks of being Judish chair. 2 months of that was acting chair. It's been a long ride. I've had a great time. I think since I started, we've reviewed over 750 pieces of legislation and 125 judicial nominees, which is insane. About 50% of that were written by Nathaniel Pelton, Hunter Monson, and Raj Mia, so I want to shout those people out specifically. Other than that, I don't know if everyone knows this, at the end of the first meeting, when the president pro temp resigned, as soon as they're elected, all of the chairs resign automatically. So none of the current chairs have any say over the next upcoming meeting. So I'm going to yield the rest of my time to my vice chair. Do you have any plans?
Not so far. If you submit legislation, please come to the meeting, show up, present your bill. It just makes all of our lives easier, and we can't wait to see you there.
All right, we are now on for the Budget Appropriations Committee report with Chairman Ryan.
Okay. As Julia said, we have Budget Bash going on, so we have 2 more events still. Tomorrow we have Pizza and Proposals. It's basically where student organization leaders can come in with their proposals, and the committee will review it. Though I will not be chairwoman, I will be there Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so if you guys know any student org leaders, or if you guys are one, genuinely, please come out. We have a lot of people come out today, and it was super helpful. As you guys know, we have a completely new, test site going on, so that's just kind of what we're doing. Which brings me to my next point of Thursday's event, which is where we're opening the actual site. You guys will have access to basically ArchiTrack and can essentially utilize the test site how you'd like. And I guess I will also that's all I have. Thank you guys. See, we're not being committee report, it wasn't chaotic. Anyways, that's all I have as committee chairwoman. I totally forgot to shout out SG Finance and Community and Belonging. That's what I mean to do now because they deal with a lot. So shout out to especially Gary. I always catch Gary. I literally hunt him down. So thank you, Gary, for that. And other than that, I don't have anything. It was a pleasure being the Budget and Appropriations chairwoman. I hope you guys see me around. I will yield my report to Nicole. Do you have anything to say, my vice chair?
Slide budget back.
All right, we are now in line for the Rules and Ethics Committee report with Chairman Isaacson.
No report really, just remember that your absences do restart at the beginning of the second meeting. So if you are either still a sitting senator or were reelected or a new senator, your absences do restart and they'll continue until the end of the academic semester. But other than that, shout out to all my R&E committee, y'all are amazing and it's been a fun time.
We're now on to the Information and Communications Committee report with Chairman Stevens.
All right, hey guys, I do have a few things, but before I say that, I do want to just shout out my committee, past and current members. You guys been so amazing and a great help. Came in with a bunch of innovative ideas. We wouldn't be live streaming on YouTube right now if it wasn't for my committee. So shout out to them. Yeah, clap, snaps. And then, okay, so a few updates. So INC is going to be partnering with the Mental Health Ad Hoc to put on a meditation retreat this Friday, the 7th from 4 to 5. And just a reminder, attending will be a half absence. Anjani or Gabby will say more about that in the announcements. So, but definitely shout out to them and doing so much for mental health. Make sure to show out for that. And also, so next week, our committee will be doing Senate headshots for the website. So from the 10th to the 14th, from 12 to 1 in Plaza, a sign-up sheet will go out on the listserv, so look out for that. But we want to make sure that everyone gets a headshot so it looks like uniform on the website. And I already said it, but we are live streaming on YouTube now. Check out that post for the link and make sure you guys all subscribe so we don't look lame with only 4 followers, guys. And also just a quick merch update. I have been in contact with the guy. He did recently say that he's gonna have everything for me this Friday. So if it's not that I get all the merch this Friday, I'll send out another update on the listserv just to keep you guys aware. And another thing, I have a lot. Another thing our committee is bringing is Reels for Resolutions. So stay tuned for that. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you guys.
All right, we are now in line for bills under first reading. There are none. We are now in line for bills under second reading. There are none. We are now in line for bills under third reading. There are none. We are now in line for bills pending signature. There are no bills pending signature. We are now in line for announcements. Is there anyone wishing to give announcements? Senator Nadeau.
Hi everyone, congratulations to all the newly elected senators. If you don't know who I am, I'm Senator Nadeau. I represent the Springs and Keys complexes. Shout out Blake for a former Springs senator. I also co-chair the Governor Caucus currently with outgoing Senator Paul Siri, Governor PSP's here. We are looking for new members, so soon I will be getting in contact with whoever was concerned on the status either to send out an email if you guys are interested. Basically, what that caucus does is we work on LGBTQ related issues around campus, specifically relating to the Lavender LLC and issues regarding that matter. We have worked closely with PSC President Stevens and others in cabinet and around campus. So it's really a good opportunity. I recommend you guys get involved as a team.
Mental health ad hoc coaching.
Okay, first of all, hi guys, congratulations to all the new senators. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Anjani, and I've been able to be the co-chair with Gabby for the mental health ad hoc, and technically we are done. Thank you so much, Blake, for appointing us, and shout out to all of the committee members. We met a couple times and we had great resolutions, we had great ideas, and I think we can still continue. So like Crystal said, we are so fortunate to be partnering with Sky UFL to have an exclusive retreat for you guys, both, senators who are leaving and new senators. We'd love for you to come out, get your half absence back. And and again, shout out to the mental health ad hoc committee members. And then for Women's Caucus, yay, I've been able to serve as the policy chair, and we have Crystal and Ella. We are having our first meeting on Zoom at 11 on Sunday. So find me if you want to join the Slack. But we are going to be doing elections for leadership, and the Women's Caucus is genuinely such a great way to get involved for women-related issues on campus. So yeah, thank you, and find me if you're interested.
Senator Melvin.
Hi guys, so I'm also a member of the Mental Health Ad Hoc Committee, and not to be a broken record, but we would love to see you guys out there this Friday. It's a really, really, really great initiative, and yeah, please come.
I know I sound like a broken record, and I'm really trying to get people out, but tomorrow's Light Up the Rights. This has been long in planning. I've never sent more emails in my life, so please come out. There will be a dessert bar. Six Inside is playing. There's gonna be glow sticks, and these are the people that should see the rights light up for the first time. So please come out.
Are there any other announcements at this time? I actually have one. If you were a newly elected senator or your term is not ending after I bang the gavel to adjourn the meeting, please stay. The beginning of the second meeting of the two will happen in 10 minutes, so I will call to order at 10:20 p.m. Thank you so much. I adjourn this meeting at 10:09 p.m.
Voting record, everybody.